Hello, well here we are again with my next and latest chess video. This is showing a game that I've just played this morning, which is Friday the 20th of March 2015. Again, 5-minute blitz. I had a poor run of results yesterday on the server, and I'm only rated at 1100 at the moment. My opponent here was rated 1310, just over 1300. Anyway, I want to show the game. I'm black and my opponent is resigned. This is the end position where the game finished. My opponent resigned because I've got 4 pawns against 1 pawn. I'm going to promote one of my pawns, and there's nothing the opponent can do to stop it really. So let me go to the start of the game and show you. Okay, again I'm playing black, 5-minute blitz as we've already said. E4, play my favourite E6 and go to the French defence. D4, D5. So I've got my hopes up for a Winnower, a Tarrasch, an advance, something interesting, but guess what happens? E takes D, so E takes D, and we're into the most boring variation of the French defence, the French exchange. And this I've been trying to play asymmetrically, and so it went quite well for me. As we already know, I won the game. Let's continue. White develops with knight to F3. I go and pin the knight, bishop to G4, and white strikes out in the centre with C4, so I go and try and bolster the centre and play C6. White develops, bishop to D3, bishop on a reasonable diagonal, nothing terribly special. I think my bishop's on a better diagonal when I develop to D6. White castles kingside. I develop my knight, and here white takes the trouble to get more space and play C5 and attack my bishop. So I just bring my bishop back, and white plays dark squared bishop to G5, and here this is quite good. I quite like this position of the dark squared bishop for white in this variation, the asymmetric, because I can now just play F6 and attack that bishop. So with a simple pawn move, I'm just pushing that bishop back. So the bishop goes back, and in effect I've won a tempo. How significant it is, but it's just an interesting and easy thing to do as black here. So I develop my knight, queen's knight to D7, and white develops the queen's knight to D2. I want to really make some space for my queen, and I want to, if possible, castle queenside. We'll see how that develops in the game. So anyway, to do that, to free up some space for my queen, I play my queen knight back now to F8 to get it over to the king side. And here white plays the queen out to B3, attacking my B7 pawn, which I elect to defend with my queen and put my queen and bishop on a strong battery, attacking the H2 pawn. White actually plays H3 here, putting a question mark to my bishop, so I have to retreat the bishop, and I elect to swap off bishops, but white ignores that and plays A3. Well, I think that's a bit of a waste of a move, not sure. I mean, if he's planning B4 and a pawn storm, well fine, but why he didn't just play A5 I'll never know. At that point then I'd elect rather to swap off bishops, so I play bishop takes bishop. White recaptures with the queen, the only piece he could recapture with, and I develop my undeveloped, as it were, knight now. So my queen's knight's now gone to G6, and it's gone all the way onto the king side. So white does now carry out his threat of playing B4 and wanting to push his queenside pawns. Anyway, I now want to swap off the bishops. White ignores this and plays a4, carrying on with his queenside pawn attack. So I just swap the bishops off. And well, queen takes bishop, as you can see. Let's just go on a move. I now try and do even more swap-offs and try and swap the queens off. What I'm hoping if I can swap these pieces off, I can prove that I've got a good endgame. Well, again, white ignores this and plays rook to e2, e1 rather, sorry, and I just carry on with my plan and play queen takes queen. Rook takes queen back, and now I can castle. I'm free to castle at last after all of that, and I'm free to castle either side. Well, my plan to start with was to castle queen side, and I actually do castle queen side, but I'm still not sure about this. It does put my rooks on the king side, but it does open me up to, obviously, to this pawn storm on the queen side. So maybe I should have castled king side, but anyway, as I won the game, it doesn't really matter for now. And here goes the white pawn storm now with b5. So I go and attack my the white rook with knight to f5. Rook moves over to c3. And I bring my other knight up now, knight to f4. And can you see the threat? I'm hoping to play the simple knight to e2 and fork the white king and rook. But obviously white sees this and brings his other rook in to protect the e2 square. So I elect now to challenge the rooks and get my rook onto the, open up the e file and get my rook onto the open e file. So we swap off rooks and I'm now in charge of the e file. So if nothing else, that's quite good for me. White elects to try and make his king safe. So I now have a chance to develop with my knights and attack with my knights. So I play knight to e2 now, attacking the white rook. The rook moves over. But here I can win a pawn because I've got two knights on the d4 pawn, so I play knight from e takes d4. White recaptures with his knight, but I can now capture back the knight. Knight takes knight from f takes d4, attacking his rook. His rook comes back to attack my knight, so I have to be careful where I'm going to place my knight, and I elect to bring it back. I think I should bring it back somewhere to participate in something of a defence, because I can now see I'm being attacked on the queen side from white's earlier pawn storm, but now I'm actually attacking the remaining c5 pawn. So it's all working fairly well for me. Here I bring my knight further back. The only drawback here is now white could play knight takes pawn, and if that white elects to play knight takes pawn, he can still do it, but I elect to swap off because I was a pawn up, and I now elect to try and promote my pawns and get into a good position. So white now starts to bring his king round to the action, but it's a long way round from h2, and he's going a long way round. And I bring my king up here to c6. Now I can take the pawn. White swaps off the knights, and now it comes down to the endgame pawn technique. Okay, so white has 4 pawns and I have 5 pawns, so I'm a pawn up. And here with this structure, the best pawn move is to push in the centre, white ignores this, which gives me a very good chance here actually, because I can now play g takes h4, and this pawn is a passed pawn now. White elects to ignore that and set up his own threats. Well, I'm not sure if I should just push the pawn and promote, but quite simply I have a good next move, which is h takes g. White plays f takes g, and I can play g takes h, and there we are at the end of the game, the position that was shown at the start of the video. And as I say, I've now got 4 pawns to 1 pawn, so that endgame worked out very well for me. White played it very badly. That's an example of how to play a reasonable endgame if your pawns are lined up once against one another like that. And as it proved, this game worked out quite nicely for me in the French asymmetric variation. And hope you've enjoyed watching that, and I hope to keep practicing with this variation, which I'm doing reasonably well at in the boring French exchange. I really do wish white wouldn't play it, but white players do persist in playing that. Anyway, that's all for now. Thanks very much. Good luck with your chess, and happy chess playing, and take care, and we'll see you later, and I hope the ratings improve. Okay, thanks very much, and bye for now.